Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to a brand new episode of Extraordinary Talks. My name is Luis Portelles, and for today's video, I am really excited because not only we are launching the first ever Extraordinary Talks of 2022, so we are launching the pageant season today, but also because I have a really special guest for you guys. I know that here on my channel we have a lot of Miss Earth pageant fans. And for today's video, I am bringing to you a candidate that is representing a country that we all know and love. I'm talking about Miss Earth Puerto Rico, and her name is Paulina Aviles Feshold. So I'm really excited to present to you guys everything that we have prepared for today, the questions and the answers that this beautiful candidate is going to provide to us, because believe me, she has a lot to offer. So I won't keep you waiting for much longer. The only thing that I will ask from you is that if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like as usual, to comment, to subscribe to the channel, of course. And and yes, I hope that you enjoy it and that you find some value in this interview. So I'll see you with Paulina right after the intro, okay? Okay, perfect. So here we have her. Everyone give it up for Paulina Aviles. How are you
Hi, hi.
doing?
Thank you so much for having me. And hi, everybody. Good
Honestly.
morning.
It's such a pleasure to have you here with me. I know that we've been planning this for, a little bit and it's finally happening. So I'm really happy.
Me too. At last, we're able to meet.
Yes, finally. Well, first of all, before we even get into questions whatsoever, I just want to say congratulations for winning the title of Miss Earth Puerto Rico. This is definitely like a huge accomplishment because we know how much Puerto Rico takes pageants seriously. How do
Yeah.
you feel about it?
Oh, I'm so excited and grateful to be able to have this opportunity to not only meet and make so many new contacts and learn so much more about myself, but be able to leave a message and do it through a way that I'm going to reach so many people. It's going to be amazing. I'm so excited.
Yes, absolutely. And this is such like a beautiful platform. I'm sure that you met like extraordinary people as well. And you have a very good national director as well. He's a good friend, so I know that you're in good hands. Perfect. So let's get right into it. I mean, I want people to get to know you and really know you as a person, as a beauty queen, everything, every single aspect of you. So can you tell us a little bit about you? What are some of the key elements that you think people should know about you?
Well, I've been a sporty person all my life. I
Mhm.
moved to the Dominican Republic when I was younger, like in fifth grade, and I was able to practice a great amount of sports and meet a lot of people from a lot of different cultures. Because since the Dominican Republic is a republic, there's a lot of people from Latin America, Europe. There's a lot of cultures over there, and I was able to meet so much people and create a family over there, really. And they also provided me with the opportunity to practice so many sports. I was able to practice horseback riding, volleyball, soccer, tennis, even
Wow.
like archery. I was able to practice a lot of sports, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity. And they also gave me a lot of educational opportunities as well. I became a part of the debate team almost
Oh.
against my will. Was a little introverted back then, and that really got me out of my shell, and not only allowing me to know about what was going around the world politically and all about the environment, but
Mhm.
really throw myself out there and start talking publicly, knowing so many new people. Really, I've lived a roller coaster throughout my life, and being able to come back to Puerto Rico to study environmental architecture
Yeah.
and meeting so many people, and during quarantine, I when I have a goal, I focus completely on it, and that's what happened with architecture. I was so focused. Plus the pandemic, I was not going out. I was like completely bookworm, getting into my studies 24/7. And when I saw the pageant in Instagram, I was like, all right, I think it's time to get out of my shell, my educational shell, because at that time I was a lot more extroverted compared to when I was small. I was little. but being able to enter the pageant, and a pageant that gives you so much to work with educationally and in the aspect of communications, even marketing, they gave us a lot of tools to be
Mhm.
able to not only make a queen but are strong and independent women. Then that's so important nowadays. And all these things throughout my life really got me here, and I'm really grateful and excited to be able to explore where this is going to take me.
Absolutely. And it's going to be an exciting journey, you'll see. That's such an amazing introduction. I mean, honestly, there are
Hello.
some of the points that I'll be touching during the interview, so I'm really, really happy. So I want to talk to you a little bit about your background with, sports and all of these different disciplines that you have tried over the years. Because, in pageantry, very often we compare beauty pageants with sports, and we said that they are similar in a way. Do you
Yeah,
agree with that?
completely. You have to
Yeah.
have dedication, organization, being able to multitask. It really complements each other. And in a way, being in a pageant is a sport in itself,
Yeah.
100%. You need to be ready not only physically but mentally to be able to give it your all. And I think that goes both ways with sports and pageants.
Absolutely, absolutely. People don't realize the amount of like physical and mental work that it goes into going into competing on a pageant. I personally just started the gym like 2 days ago, and if you see that I'm not moving too much, it's because
I
I'm
bet.
aching. Everything hurts. So yes, I can definitely imagine what you're going through. But I mean, if you've been active your entire life, I imagine that for you it's just kind of like just getting into it
Yeah.
and giving it your all. Perfect. So I wanted to ask you as well. I read on your bio that you have a background in ballet and rhythmic gymnastics as
Yeah.
well. This is when you were more of a child, right? When you were younger.
Yeah, when I was here in Puerto Rico, I was
Okay.
really into gymnastics, and rhythmic gymnastics is more about flexibility,
Mhm.
flow, more like the ribbon dancing and the little um, yeah, it's more about routines, more, much less like not as sporty and strength oriented as normal gymnastics,
Mhm.
which also made me make the transition from ballet to gymnastics a lot more smoother. And I
Yeah,
enjoyed it a lot, and it has helped me so much.
I can
It
only imagine. How did you transition from all of these disciplines that we just mentioned, like require, a lot of being on top of it and practice and all of that? So, how do you transition from that into pageantry? Was it like a smooth transition or was it like a shock for you at first?
honestly, it was kind of a smooth transition. What was hard for me was, as I was mentioning before, getting out of my shell really
Hmm.
and going more into this beauty and it's like, how do I explain it? Because it's they have both disciplines that are very strong and they complement each other. But when I came into pageantry,
Yeah,
I really had to focus on giving the best of myself and selling myself
yeah,
and being able to give my all and like showing everybody who I really was. When in sports and all these other activities, it's more like technique and being focused on a team. And here it's more like independently I need to show myself. So they do complement each other, and they do at the end kind of balance each other out, but still it was like getting a process getting there.
yeah. I can imagine. And you know what's really fun about you? I mean, I've done my research, okay? Is that
Oh,
not
you're
only you are in like amazing like physical condition, but you are also a very smart girl, very, very clever. From what I see, you are an architecture student in university, right?
mm-hmm. Yes.
With a focus on environmental design.
Yes, environmental design architecture, yes.
Wow. Honestly, that's amazing. Let me ask you something, because we all know that, I mean, going through university, having done it myself, is like very, very difficult. It requires a lot of work, but you're doing that while also competing on a pageant. Like, how do you balance your time?
It was intense You know, architecture is a very hands-on and 24/7 bachelor's degree,
Hmm.
and having to balance that out, I really mastered my multitasking skills throughout this process. I can assure you that.
Yeah, I kind of,
It
yeah,
was
imagine.
kind of challenging, but since I enjoyed it so much, it actually made university go by quicker. I was like, oh my God, I already
Oh,
finished my first semester. Are you kidding? I was having so much fun. I didn't even notice it was like going on. You know what they say, when you're having fun, times goes by quicker. That's
yeah.
basically what happened, which I'm very grateful.
That's so true. I mean, when you think about it that way, if you're doing things that you really, really enjoy, you don't see it as, like a
Yeah.
burden or something that you have to do because you have to. It's honestly just like enjoying the activities and going to school because if that's your passion, well,
Yeah.
perfect. And we'll get to talk about it a little bit later about your advocacy as well. So I'm excited.
Me too.
But before we get into that, I wanted to ask you because this is not your first pageant. So obviously, you previously competed in Miss Earth Carolina 2022. Uh,
This is my first pageant. Miss
oh, it
Earth
is.
was
Oh,
I was Miss Earth Carolina to become Miss Earth Puerto Rico.
okay. Okay. So it was kind of like the transition to,
Hmm.
oh, okay. I see what you mean. Um, what would you describe, like, what would you say was the biggest surprise element of being in a pageant? Because we all know, when you're training, when you're preparing, they tell you like, oh, the Q&A, or oh, the swimsuit, or oh, this and that. But being on a pageant and doing the work is completely different. What was the biggest surprise for you?
Well, for me, since it was my first pageant, I was surprised because there's a lot of stereotypes on this world and all of that. And when I
Mhm.
entered and everybody was so friendly, I made so much friends. I have 20 sisters, I have to
Yeah.
say. And it was honestly so heartwarming and relieving to be able to enter this new world and be honestly received with open arms.
Yeah.
Is honestly, to me, that was the most surprising part, because I've never been in a pageant before, and I had all this expectations. I was going, oh my God, I'm gonna be alone. This is gonna be interesting. Let's see how it goes. And being able to have that constant support, not only by my pageant sisters, but by my director and his assistants, it made the process so much easier and so much enjoyable. I'm so grateful to be able to have entered Miss Earth Puerto Rico as my first pageant. I'm not regretting, I will never regret this decision ever.
Absolutely. And well, if this is your first pageant ever, then props to you because that's definitely, an achievement to win your first ever pageant. So amazing.
Thank you.
So, I mean, we were talking about this earlier, but in Puerto Rico, beauty pageants are so, so popular. Like, you all participate in like all the major pageants that you can possibly imagine, like international. I feel like Puerto Rico is like everywhere. Miss Universe, Miss
Really
World,
is.
Miss Supra, everywhere. Why did you go for Miss Earth in particular?
Since I was so new to this world, I wanted to choose a pageant that I knew academically I
Yeah.
was ready for it, because since it
Mm,
was so pageants in general are so challenging. And I thought that, okay, if I'm ready with all the knowledge I need to be able to back myself up in this pageant, and
mhm,
I only need to prepare myself in catwalk, orientation, being able to talk, present myself properly,
mhm.
I honestly thought it was a good idea. Thought it would be easier. It wasn't,
It
but
wasn't.
still, it helped me be able to be more secure about myself and project myself easier, because since I knew what I was talking about, I'm studying environmental architecture, which gave me a lot of knowledge about what was really happening in
Yeah.
Puerto Rico, about all the environmental issues we're having currently. It really helped me be able to focus on these other parts of the preparation.
Mhm.
And obviously, I'm always studying about this subject because it really interested me, so it wasn't really hard to prepare for that part. So that's why I chose it. I thought, okay, I know about the about the environment, maybe I got a shot. And
Let's
look where
go for
I
that. Absolutely. And people don't realize this, but I mean, my very humble opinion, everyone, pageant fans don't come for me, but in my opinion, Miss Earth is one of the most difficult pageants because
am.
I mean, from the point of view of someone who interviews like beauty queens often, right? When I have to interview a beauty queen from Miss Earth, I have to prepare in advance like so much because we're dealing with very, very smart girls, very clever. You mentioned earlier that when you were deciding which pageant to go with, you went with Miss Earth because of like the academic background, right? It's expected for you to be able to
Yeah.
communicate, to talk about scientific facts and stuff like that, right? So people don't realize, but it's not just like the physical preparation,
Yeah.
and you know, like
That was
you also have to be on top of the game.
yeah, the challenging part during the judges questioning part of the
Mm,
of the pageant. It was
yeah,
all facts about the environment. You weren't just selling yourself, you
yeah,
were selling your knowledge, your brain, basically, that you knew what you were talking about. And that's really a key part about Mr. Puerto Rico, and Miss Earth in general. And I think it's really what sets it apart from other pageants, that it is really focused about the hard facts about what's going on. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let me ask you something here. Actually, I know the national director of Miss Earth Puerto Rico very well, Joe. Hey, Joe, if you're watching. So he actually shared something through his Instagram account a few days ago. This was recent, but it really, really stuck with me. He said that as a national director, his job is not just to find, like good candidates for the pageant, but also to make sure that he and the organization are providing tools and resources for the girls to grow as a person, to grow as a woman, as a beauty queen.
Mhm.
So how do you feel like your journey, your experience within Miss Earth Puerto Rico helped you grow in those aspects as a woman, as a beauty queen, as a person?
Yeah. It came to a point that at the end, I was like, I've learned so much, not only about myself, about what I can do in the future, how I can handle
Mm,
myself, that I honestly would not be that. I would still be grateful no matter the consequences or like the results of the pageant. It
mhm.
came to that point, and I feel like all my pageant sisters felt that way at the end. They were so grateful of everything that was given to us, that we
Yes,
were all right. No matter which one of us gets the crown, we all came out winning one way or another. So really
absolutely.
being able to say that, it's amazing and really shows what type of pageant Joe is giving and providing to these women that are giving themselves the opportunity to get out there. It's
Mhm,
really key to be able to get something out of every pageant you participate on.
mhm.
And really, that's why I'm so happy to represent Mr. Puerto Rico, honestly, because I know that
Exactly.
next year the girls, no matter the results, are gonna get something out of it. It's gonna be
Yeah.
amazing to be able to be there with them, experience it all over again with them. I'm very excited for that part of my.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so happy. That honestly really warms my heart because, as a pageant fan and like looking at different pageants all throughout the world, sometimes you hear like horror stories. And what I always tell myself is like these candidates, all of them, they put like so much work, so much time, so much effort, money, resources as well that go into pageants. Um, that I just wish like everyone, got something out of it. Like they all won or not won. I mean, there's only one title, of course, but like that they all are able to live with something more than what they had when they started, right?
Yeah.
So to hear that the Miss Earth Puerto Rico organization is doing all this effort to make sure
Yeah.
that each candidate gets what they deserve is honestly props
Yeah.
to everyone.
It's really amazing.
What is something that you believe that you have learned yourself from your sisters that competed with you during this edition of Miss Earth Puerto Rico?
I've honestly learned that mental health is key to be able
Mm,
to accomplish any goal you set yourself in. I
mhm,
know my this year's pageant, this year's group 2022 has been very diverse, and I'm so proud of them for being able to go through all this process, learning about yourself, learning about all the things you need to learn to be able to be a queen, and not only that, but also dealing with this whole new world of the media and all of these things that are come up when you enter a pageant,
mhm.
and being able to go all through that and coming out winning and being stronger and more independent. it's really I admire them so much, and I'm so grateful I was able to have this experience with them and learn from them. It's really important that we set an example for the girls that are watching us, because one way or another we're going to end up being a role model
Yeah.
with any girl that's able to like connect with us, and being able to have all these amazing girls being a model for all this diverse group of girls. It's really amazing, and I learned so much from them. That's like one of the thousand things I learned from them, honestly.
Absolutely. And it's a very good point. I feel like mental health, we have to talk more about it because sometimes
Absolutely.
it can take a toll on you, like there's a lot of expectation, people looking at you with a magnifying glass, And I believe that when you are in this bubble with this group of girls, they are the only ones who understand what you're going through at that moment. So if you stick together, if you support one another, that's like the best thing that you can get out of it. You win like a you create like this sisterhood, this group of
Yeah.
people who will be there for you no matter what. So
Yeah.
amazing. Now I have something fun for both of us to do. Let's watch something together. I just want to get your reaction and then we can talk about it for a little bit.
All right. I'm ready.
So are you ready?
Yes.
All right, so let's see.
Llegó el momento donde este grupo de 20 candidatas se reduce a solo dos. Nos restan solo dos candidatas para conocer quién será la nueva Miss Earth Puerto Rico 2022. ¿Qué dice Puerto Rico? ¿Qué dice? Bueno, Miss Earth Puerto Rico 2022 lo es. ¿Eres tú? ¿Quién? ¡Qué nervios! Pero ahora sí, Miss Earth Puerto Rico 2022 es Miss Carolina. ¡Felicidades a la nueva reina que ya no es Miss Carolina! Ahora es Miss Earth Puerto Rico. Muchas felicidades, bienvenidos a la familia y a la gente en casa. Gracias por la sintonía. Nos vemos el próximo año en una nueva edición del Miss Earth 2023. Así es, y por supuesto queremos darle muchas gracias al municipio de San Sebastián por la gran acogida en esta noche tan especial. Y aquí tienen Puerto Rico, Filipinas, el mundo entero. Ella es Miss Earth Puerto Rico 2022. Llegó el momento donde...
Oh. Oh my God, what was going through your mind at that specific point?
Oh my god. What an amazing experience. I'm so grateful. I still remember I was in complete shock. I was like, wait. I just stood there like frozen. I was like, oh my god. It's me.
Did you ever imagine at some point that you had this in the bag? Like, it might be me. You know what? I mean, at that point, you were already like within the top two. So it was one or the other. But did you at some point feel confident that, okay, maybe I got this?
Honestly, I had such a competitive group of sisters. I
Mhm.
had no idea. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna give it my all.
Uh-huh.
And it happens what happens. I was like, okay, I'll just see what happens. I'm gonna give it my all. It's fine. It doesn't matter what happens. I'm gonna be fine.
Oh, well, I'm so happy for you. Such a beautiful platform, and I just wanted to get your reaction because this moment, I mean, I as a pageant fan, when I watch like a coronation moment, I'm just like freaking out at home. So I can only imagine what is happening within the head of the contestants.
I was like, everything was going on, but physically, I was like, me.
I love it. All right, so Paulina, I would love it right now if you were able to tell me a little bit about your advocacy. what you stand for, what you defend, what you want to do with this platform?
I would, I'm honestly completely focused on being able to educate as much as possible about our coast and about how we could be battling global warming and how erosion is really disappearing our little island. And not only our little island, but internationally. Erosion is affecting everybody, and if we knew how to really combat it, we could really cause a change. And I'm focusing on educating about reforesting our coasts and being able to create a barrier between the oceans and the constant climate change and sea level, and how the sea levels keep growing, and being able to create a barrier between land and ocean so we can still appreciate our beaches but also keep our land safe and healthy. I really want to focus on being able to educate as much people as possible about the changes we should be making to
Yeah.
not only keep our lands safe and healthy, but like also grow our economy and our tourism. Because if we have our beaches healthy and beautiful, we're gonna be able to bring more people in so they can appreciate our beautiful beaches that are still alive at this point. We
Yes,
need
exactly.
to save as much beaches as possible.
To enjoy the beauty of Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
One thing that always comes to mind, when I'm having these conversations with the candidates, because obviously the girls really prepare for the pageant and they know their facts. They are really, they know everything.
yeah,
But a big aspect of being part of Miss Earth is that you need to be able to communicate with others and give them that knowledge in a way, right? Educate them in a way. So, what would you think will be the best way, in your opinion? Because of course, there's no right or wrong answer, to approach people and let them know about these issues and how they can help.
I feel like the best way to communicate to as much people as possible is through media. It's
Mhm.
a platform that everybody on at this point has, and if we use it in a positive way so we can educate people about the negative effects that using materials that cause harm to the environment,
Mhm.
and being able to use that to translate it and make people understand how they could be actually helping after taking the knowledge of everything that's going wrong and that we're doing wrong. I feel like through media, we can not only communicate it literally, but through illustrations and make people understand one way or another how they could be helping.
I agree with you. Sometimes, I feel like actions speak louder than words
Yeah.
sometimes. So by just showing the work and showing what you can do, people sometimes can see themselves reflected in the things that you share, whether it's through social media, whether it's with through traditional media as well.
Yeah.
So it's really up to the candidates to use the platform. Let me ask you, because we know that for the past few years, Miss Earth has been a virtual pageant.
Yeah.
However, there's a rumor that we're, you know, crossing fingers, we should have a physical pageant this year.
Yeah.
I know that the national pageant for Miss Earth in the Philippines is going to be a physical pageant. Has it been confirmed for Miss Earth that, like, the international version, that it will be physical as well, or are we still waiting for a confirmation?
We're honestly waiting for a confirmation, but we all are like hoping and praying that it's going to be physical so we're able to showcase presential and like physically all that we worked on. So
Yeah.
we're all hoping and praying that it's going to be physical.
Manifesting it, putting it into the universe.
Yeah.
So, do you think that it will be easier for you to compete on an online environment or a physical environment?
I feel like either way, I will give it my all and present all the knowledge and the practice and everything I've given to be able to prepare for this moment. I would obviously love for it to be physical, to not only showcase my talents, but be able to meet all our contestants and all the people, and be able to appreciate the Filipino culture that I love so much. And I'm so excited that I'm hopefully able to visit over there.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm gonna give it my all to bring that crown back to Puerto Rico, no matter what happens. So, still fingers crossed it's physical though.
Yes. Crossing fingers, absolutely. I do believe, we see like pros and cons of both online and also a physical pageant as well. Because For example, in the beginning, people were adapting to this new format of having everything done online.
Yeah.
But then we also realized that because it is online, the girls also get to showcase more of their country because they are,
Yeah.
on the spot. They can go and film, they can go and create material and content. So although they were not physically together, they were able to come up with a lot of material for the audience, for the pageant fans. So that was fun
Yeah,
to
that's
witness.
what I loved about last year. Christina was
Yeah,
showcase Puerto Rico so beautifully.
I
I was like,
know.
even though it's not physical, at least she was able to show her beauty and invite people to visit. That's what Miss Earth is about, tourism and being able to showcase Puerto Rico that way. I thought it was beautiful. Hopefully this year we're gonna be able to showcase this physically.
Yeah, exactly.
Showcase all Puerto Rico's beauty through our um our dresses, our presentations. So it's gonna
Yeah,
be amazing.
everything. So much talent in Puerto Rico, so much beauty. So I'm excited. Okay, so one thing about the Miss Earth title, right? This is not a token title. This is not just a crown. It comes with a big responsibility. It comes with a big platform as well. So if you were given the chance to become the next Miss Earth, how would you use that platform?
I would use this platform to continue on my message of protecting our coast and being able to educate as much people as possible through media, through visiting all these new places, and being able to not only give hope to everybody I'm able to talk to and be able to meet, but educate everybody about how we could be helping our planet in not only turning on our light off our lights and using less air conditioner, but being able to make them understand ways that by simply example through architecture we are able to minimize all these uses if we make small little changes that really acclimate to our climate. Like this little changes, this little tips, I will be able to communicate to as much people as possible. I will really focus on education basically and
Mhm.
reaching as much people as possible.
I love the approach. I love it because I feel like when it comes to environment, when it comes to all of these issues, it's really about just giving people the tools to know. For example, I remember last year I was doing like a little series of interviews with Miss Earth girls,
Mhm.
and I would always tell them, like growing up, I grew up, I was born and raised in Cuba. And growing up, like we didn't hear much about the environment or how to protect it, but it's something that I'm really passionate about and that I love. But back in the day, I didn't have the knowledge, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like what you girls are doing is really important because it's not about, convincing everyone, running
Yeah.
up there, but it's just like letting you know what's happening and how you can be part of the solution. So,
Yeah, and planting that little seed of interest in everybody. About example in Switzerland, they started educating the youngsters from a really young age about how they should be helping the environment and recycling and all that little steps. And throughout their whole life, they are the most successful. Um, they're the most successful in being able to help the environment and their recycling system. And
mhm,
it really shows that if we're able to teach and plant that little seed of interest in children from a young age, we're gonna be able to really cause a change. And that really it's what this is all about, really doing that throughout the whole process.
I love that. So, so important. And,
Yeah.
talking about important, one of the things about Miss Earth is that over the years, this pageant has solidified a spot within the big four pageants in the world. But recently, like, there's been like a little bit of talk, and some people like questioning that and, back and forth, which honestly is just like external noise. But in your opinion, why is it that Miss Earth is still one of the biggest four pageants in the world?
Not only is it touching the greatest problem we're currently having in the world, but it finds a way to communicate and spread knowledge about everything that's going on our environment. Like in architecture, we focus on the micro, right? The micro little details, but it also affects the macro, our planet. We only have one planet, and that's what Miss Earth focuses on being able to protect this macro environment we have and the only one we have. And
Mhm.
by giving this message and spreading it, it really it reaches so many people that there's no way it's not going to be one of the top four. It's giving one of the most important messages out there, and it's helping us protect our only planet. So I feel like just by with that fact, it just solidifies its spot.
Exactly. It's really its purpose. I feel like it's not just about beauty, it's not just about competition, but it's
Yeah,
about purpose.
yeah,
And
beauty with a cause. That's Miss Earth.
that's it. Perfect. So I have actually two more questions for you before I end the interview. And the first one, you know, so Puerto Rico is considered to be a powerhouse in pageantry. We mentioned that already. Um, in 2019, Puerto Rico earned their very first Miss Earth crown. Uh, what would it mean for you to bring home that second crown?
It would mean that all this, the effort and the work I put into and this objective I've set myself would actually come true, and I'll be able to give the message and reach a lot more people than I ever thought I would about this knowledge I've gained through all of my life, and being able to see all my work actually give fruits. It's gonna be amazing, and not
Yeah,
only will I be able to be proud of myself, but I will be able to give the Puerto Ricans a reason to be even prouder about Miss Earth Puerto Rico and give it more and be able to make Miss Earth Puerto Rico that much closer and that much stronger as a powerhouse. That's the goal for this year, and I hope we can reach
yeah. Just work hard, and you got this in the bag.
it.
Now, the very last question is very, very similar, but it's not about you, it's about the people of Puerto Rico. So, we were talking about how, with this type of platform, you can help the tourism, which automatically would help the economy. It
Yeah.
helps the visibility as well internationally. So, what do you think it will mean for the people of Puerto Rico to see you at the top of this list?
It would mean that all the trust and faith they put in me was worth it. And that would mean that we were that much closer to really reaching our goal. And I am going to give it my all to be able to give that crown back to Puerto Rico. And I'm very hopeful that we're going to be able to reach that goal this year.
Absolutely. Well, I really hope for the best. And most importantly, I just hope that you enjoy the journey, that you learn a lot, that you have, a lot of fun, that you make a lot of friends. And then ultimately, whatever happens, you still have the platform. You are
Yeah.
still Miss Earth Puerto Rico 2022,
Mhm.
and no one can take that away from you. Okay. So before we go, I mean, we have all of these people watching us right now. What is your message for the audience? What do you want them to remember from you? And also, how can they support you on your Miss Earth journey?
Thank you so much for reaching the end of this interview. I'm so grateful you got connected and were able to experience and get to know me better. I hope you are able to follow me through my journey through the Miss Earth Puerto Rico official Instagram page and Facebook, and of course my Instagram, Paulina NAF. I hope you're able to know me better and understand why I want this crown so much, and I hope you get just as excited as I am for what's coming. Thank you so much, and good night, good morning, and mwah.
Amazing. Well, thank you everyone for joining us and for staying with us until the end. We do appreciate it. I will leave all of Paulina's social networks in the description down below, so make sure to go and check it out and follow her, support her. And I will see you guys very soon with more interviews and fun videos, so stay tuned for that as well. Don't forget to like, share, comments, that this video gets showed to more people, okay? All right, so take care, everyone. And Paulina, it's been such a pleasure. Love you so
Oh, the
much, and we'll
pleasure.
be supporting.
Thank you. Mwah.
Mwah, mwah,
Good
mwah, mwah.